Hello there, little fairy tale friends, and a warm welcome to another bedtime story here on SoundTales. My name is Fina, and now it's time to wind down together. Before the story begins, let's help the body find some stillness. We'll start with some breath work. We breathe in through our noses, as if you're smelling a lovely flower, and then we hold that breath for a few seconds, and then we breathe out through our mouths, as if you're gently blowing on a dandelion puff. Now, place one hand on your heart, the other one on your belly, and we're going to take a big inhale through your nose. Hold. And out. Sink deeper into the mattress with the exhale, and in. Hold. And out. Very good. Now, to let our bodies sink even deeper into the mattress, we are going to give ourselves a big squeeze. Yeah, wrap your arms around yourselves, and at the same time, we are going to scrunch our toes, our feet, our knees, our thighs, our butts, our stomach, our chest, our shoulders are up to our ears, and scrunch your face. More. 3, 2, 1. Yes, we're melting into that mattress. Very, very good. Now, let's whisper some words to ourselves. You can say them out loud or just gently inside. I am valuable just as I am. I'm allowed to follow my heart. I belong in the world I choose. Excellent. And now, it's time to listen to today's bedtime story. A story about finding your place, about saying yes to life, and about daring to fly, even when you're small. This is Christian Andersen's story of Thumbelina. Once upon a time, there was a woman who lived in a small house surrounded by flowers. She was kind and gentle, but her heart felt lonely. She longed for a child to love and care for. One day, she visited an old wise woman who lived on the edge of the forest. "Can you help me? I long so much for a child of my own." The old woman smiled and gave her a small, tiny seed.
"Plant this in a flower pot. Water it every day, and something wonderful will happen,"
she said. The woman thanked her, went home and planted the seed with tender hands. She watered it every day and waited. And one beautiful morning, the flower opened, and inside sat a tiny little girl, so small she fit on the flower petal. She wasn't even as tall as a thumb. "Thumbelina. I'll call you Thumbelina," the woman whispered, her heart full of joy. Thumbelina didn't grow bigger, but her heart was large, and her voice as clear as birdsong. She slept in a walnut shell bed, covered in rose petals, and played with butterflies in the garden. Everything was peaceful and beautiful. But one night, while everyone was asleep, an old toad climbed through the window. she saw Thumbelina resting in her little bed.
Oh, what a lovely girl! She'd make the perfect wife for my son,
thought the toad. And before anyone noticed, she had picked up Thumbelina, bed and all, and hopped out the window. When Thumbelina woke the next morning, she was sitting on a lily pad in the middle of a pond. The water shimmered around her. It was so beautiful, but she was alone and afraid. "Where am I?" she whispered.
"You are going to marry my son,"
the toad croaked proudly, pointing at another toad yawning on the shoreline. Thumbelina didn't want to marry a toad. She wanted to go home. But beneath the water, some little fish had seen everything. They felt sorry for Thumbelina. "We have to help her," one fish said. Together they nibbled through the stem of the lily pad. It began to float gently with the current, slowly drifting away from the pond and the toads. Thumbelina floated down the stream, past reeds and willow trees. She didn't know where she was going, but she felt a little safer now. Eventually, the lily pad came to rest in a meadow. Summer had ended. The autumn was on its way. The wind grew colder each day. Thumbelina hid beneath leaves and tried to stay warm, but the rain fell and the wind howled. She was cold and hungry. One day, she found a tiny door in the ground. She knocked gently. A kind field mouse opened the door.
"Oh, but poor dear! Oh, come in, out of the cold, dear goodness,"
said the mouse, and welcomed her into the warm burrow. Thumbelina was given food and warmth. She helped the mouse with chores, sang songs, and stayed cozy all winter long. One day, the mouse's neighbor came to visit, a mole. He was wealthy and had a grand home underground, and he loved Thumbelina's singing. "She'd make a fine wife for you, you know," whispered the mouse to the mole. The mole nodded. Thumbelina heard them and felt heavy in her heart. The mole was kind, but she didn't want to live underground forever. She missed the sun, the flowers, the sky. But she didn't dare to say no. Where else would she go? One day, as she walked through the mole's dark tunnel, she found something. A bird lay there on the ground. It was a swallow. It wasn't moving. "Oh no, poor bird! How did you end up here?" Thumbelina whispered, bending down. And she put her ear to its chest. She heard a faint heartbeat. "You're alive," she said softly. Every evening, in secret, Thumbelina visited the swallow. She covered it with soft leaves, gave it water and food. Slowly, the swallow began to grow stronger. Its wings started to flutter again. And when spring arrived, the swallow opened its eyes fully.
"You've saved my life. Thank you, little friend. Oh, I wish I could fly like you,"
Thumbelina whispered. The swallow looked at her with warm eyes.
"You can. Come with me. I'll fly to a land where it's always spring, where the sun always shines and the flowers never fade."
Thumbelina hesitated. But when she thought of the mole's dark tunnels, of never seeing the sun again, she knew what she had to do.
"Yes, I'll come with you."
The swallow gently lifted her onto its back, and together they soared into the sky. They flew over fields and seas, over mountains and forests, The wind rushed through Thumbelina's hair, and for the first time in a long while, she felt free. At last they reached a land glowing with sunshine. Flowers in every color bloomed everywhere. And there, in the heart of the white blossom, lived a tiny prince. He was no taller than Thumbelina, with wings shimmering like mother of pearl. The prince looked up and smiled.
"Welcome! Have you traveled far?"
he said.
"Yes, very far,"
said Thumbelina.
"Come down. Would you like to stay here?"
he asked gently. Thumbelina looked around. She felt the warmth of the sun, saw the flowers, and heard the birds sing. Yes, I would. The prince reached out his hand, and as she took it, something strange happened. From her shoulders grew 2 tiny wings, transparent and delicate like petals.
"Now you can fly on your own,"
said the prince, and together they flew among the flowers in that warm land. No one tried to capture her anymore. No one told her who she had to be. She had found her home. And there, among sunshine and blossoms, Thumbelina lived happily ever after. The end. And so ends the tale of Thumbelina, a story about freedom, friendship, and about growing, even if you're not bigger than a petal. Thumbelina was taken away more than once. Others tried to decide her path for her, but inside her she carried a quiet longing for something else, something more. And she listened to that whisper, and in the end, she dared to say yes to what felt right, not because she knew where it would lead, but because she knew how it felt in her heart. Maybe you felt small sometimes, or scared, or unsure, and that's okay. We all carry tiny wings, even if they haven't shown themselves yet. So, before we go to sleep, I want to say this just to you. You are allowed to choose your path. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to wait until your heart whispers yes. And when you do, the whole world might bloom. Thank you for listening to my bedtime story today. And remember, you are still loved, you are still safe, and you are always welcome here. So, we'll meet again soon, right here on SoundTales. Sleep tight.